Hi, Jarno. Nice to have you on the call today.
Hi, Mark. Yeah, nice to be here. Thanks for inviting.
Great. Okay, so a bit of an introduction to this call then. We are doing this session for a chance for myself to speak to Jarno about the new Atarka NFT project, Streamr NFT project that is coming through now. It has launched in the community and via the Stream Team app. And who better to speak to than Jarno, who's the project lead on this project. So quick introduction to myself. I think most people have seen my face and heard my voice before in recent months on Streamr. My name's Mark and I head up on marketing at Streamr. And Jarno, if you could give a quick introduction to yourself, that would be great.
Sure. So, hi everyone. Name is Jarno Marttila, and I'm working on Streamr on Atarka project. And I guess we'll go much more in depth in this short interview, like what is Atarka about and what am I doing there?
Great. And Jarno, tell us a bit more about yourself. What's your background and what do you actually do?
Sure. So my background is a bit divided. Like I've studied a bit of economics, I studied a little bit of computer science. I've been a software developer for now about 10 plus years. Been working with the Streamr for some time. Been working with the other companies. I started the Streamr a bit longer time. And I'm pretty much passionate about everything related to the software it's developing.
Awesome. Okay, great. Thanks for that, Jarno. Okay, so I think a good start point would be just to explain a little bit about Atarka. Who's in the Atarka and why is it important? It'd be great to understand that better as a start point.
Great. It's kind of a word monster. It's an acronym. But if I start from the beginning and try to simplify a little bit. So Atarka is an EU-funded research project that Streamr is one of the participants in. It started about a year and a half ago, 2021, and it will last till next year, beginning of next year. And the name comes from a couple of words. It stands for accounting technologies for anti-rival coordination and allocation. And then that's a bit of much, but because the question then is like, what? I understood like the technology and accounting, but what is anti-rival? And that goes a little bit into the microeconomics and the goods, like how do we understand them? Just with a few words, like we usually associate rivalry and non-rivalry with a certain type of goods. Like rival goods would be a cup of coffee. I can drink it. You cannot drink it. It can only be consumed by one person. Then there's a thing called non-rival goods that we can all consume together, and they don't really dissipate too much by consumption. Like let's say museums or gyms or oceans and fisheries. And there's some things called like anti-rival goods that are very unique type of goods that basically gain value the more they're being used. For an example, like internet is such thing. The more the users, the more valuable it gets. So in this project, we're like very much researching and piloting from different perspectives that how can we capture some of the value that goes to creating anti-rival goods, and how can we account that, and how do we understand the value, and how can we incentivize the creation of it.
Excellent. So this kind of concept of anti-rival is quite important, and you just gave the example of the internet. So is another way to think of it as kind of network effects, and the larger the network of people using them, the more inherent value there is.
Yeah. Network effects is a phenomenon that is tightly coupled to the anti-rivalry itself, or the value formation of it. So we can probably also define it in a way that the creation of the value could be seen as creating positive externalities. So I do an act for community, and I get value, but also everyone else gets value out of it. So that is, and then when you kind of start to get more aggregated amount of people working together, then you come into the ground of like, hey, this is kind of like a network, and you get network effects out of it.
Awesome. Okay, thanks for explaining that. Okay, so I guess we'll go on to talk about sort of anti-rival NFTs in a moment. But before we do that, could you introduce what the Talco platform is? Because that's the platform that's kind of connected to this project, isn't it?
Sure. To give a little bit context, so in this Atarka project, we have different pilot projects, and one of them is with Streamr and Streamr community, and we have created a platform for it. So it's a platform where you can browse streamer-specific awards, and these awards, I guess, we'll go a little bit more in depth, like what they are, but they're basically NFT awards that will represent what kind of things you have done for the community.
Yeah. And where can Streamr community members go to find the Talco platform? What's the URL?
So you can find it on Talco app.io. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but yeah. we'll put the link there.
Okay, so it's TALKO app.io.
Yes.
Talco.app. Okay, great. Thanks, Jarno. Okay, so let's talk a bit more about these NFTs. So we call them internally as SNFTs. Could you talk a bit more about what the S stands for and the role of kind of anti-rival NFTs?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. So the S stands for shareable. So we created a new NFT class, or maybe we can talk a little bit about it later. But basically, how we saw it, like how do we incentivize people, is that we'll capture what they have done. Like when people have done something significant for Streamr community, for example, they made a contribution, a code contribution or non-code contribution. There's a team of people that will look into it. Okay, like, hey, this is very good stuff. Like, we want more of this, and we want to recognize this person for the valuable effort they have done for the community, and then we'll create an NFT about it, which will then have the metadata of the contribution inside. Like, hey, this is exactly what you did, and this is who you are, or enough information that you want to give about yourself, and we'll put a unique NFT art on it. So this is like all stuff kind of like sounds like pretty traditional stuff that like this is what everyone does. Like, oh yeah, this is non-fungible token, so this is what you can do it. You have a token and you have a metadata associated, and it's considered as unique. But then we thought about it that hey, there are cases that these great efforts and great contributions, they're not done in a vacuum. They're influenced by other people, or you work with someone else. And what if you only get a reward for it? Like doesn't sound like fair. So we make a shareable NFT that once you get the NFT, it's basically soul bound to yourself. You're not able to transact it away. You cannot sell it away, but you can share it with someone else. So you can make it basically a copy of your NFT, and you can append a bit more metadata in it. That hey, I did this and you did that, and now we both have the same NFT about it.
Okay, so they're NFTs, so they're non-fungible. So there's one of these NFTs, but then the idea is that you share it to somebody else in the community that you've worked with. So how does that sharing work from a sort of technical or blockchain perspective? Is there still just one NFT, or is a new NFT minted, and therefore is the second NFT fungible or non-fungible? How does that work?
That's an excellent question. So all the NFTs are non-fungible NFTs. So let's take an example. You do great effort for the community. You're the marketing man, and you have made some great contribution. And now I, as a community manager, like create an NFT for you, and I associate there in the description like what did you do, and you will have its unique image on it, and I send it to you. So it's a token transaction. There's a contract on blockchain that has a record of all these NFTs, and then there's a database that has the metadata description. So I'll link your wallet address. I'll send the NFT award to you. You can have the Talco platform. You can browse it there, but you can also share it there. So sharing is also a token transaction. So if you choose to share your award with someone, then you're basically creating another NFT, which will have some linkage to the previous metadata. But it's unique, but they would have, let's say, similar art styles between themselves.
Okay, so there's a new art creation process which makes it non-fungible. Is it that makes it non-fungible, or is it something else in the metadata, or what is it in the shared token? What is it that makes it unique?
At the token contract level, there are different NFTs. So they have their own unique numbering. So you're not sharing the same NFT. You're basically like creating a copy of your own NFT for someone else, and you will have same metadata as you, but they do append a little bit more information that, okay, this is what you have done. This is how you have participated in my contribution that got rewarded for.
Yeah. Okay, I understand. And so, in kind of anti-rival economics, what it's fostering is an economy of kind of working as a collective or working together as a group, right? That's kind of the underlying idea here. Is we're trying to teamwork.
That's pretty good simplification of it. That you could like also kind of like where does the kind of what is Talco? Like what is the word? Like where does the name come from? So that is actually a Swedish word. There's a Finnish version of it. It's like add more O's to the end. So it's Talco. But it means it means communal work. So back in the day, like Finland was like agrarian society, and so was Sweden, and we had like these big massive projects that you do as a community together. Like you build up a barn together, and then you come together and make the work done, but you're not necessarily expecting a transactional relationship out of it. But you expect to be kind of remembered that, hey, I did something significant for this community, so I want to be named here.
Okay, I understand. Okay, thanks for explaining that. Okay, I hadn't heard the translation of Talco before, so that really. Okay, so it's about recognition for working as part of a broader team and within a community. Okay, so moving on then. So in terms of benefits of collecting these SNFTs, like why as a Streamr community member is it interesting to be rewarded with an SNFT?
There's multiple actually reasons why we chose Streamr community. Like probably the most obvious one is that it's something that we're familiar with, and it's easy community for us to approach. But it's also like the what it stands for. Like the Streamr communities for us, it looks like they have very strong ethos. Like they have very strong let's say internal belief system that what do they want Streamers to be. And people try to meet to that ethos. So we want, of course, like to support and recognize the people's activities in the community and what they do about it. Then we get to the question like, well, what is the benefit of this? Well, there are a couple of different views, like what are the benefits? Like the most obvious one is like, well, we get an NFT. We can get soon to like, well, what is the value of it? But for the community itself, the benefit of like having these like tiny tracks of what people are doing and what does the community appreciate will actually reduce the information that the syncing costs. Like if you come to the comment from outside, there's usually the challenge that, hey, I like this community and I want to participate, but I don't know what I should do. I might have a certain skill set, so I might be more, let's say, focused on making code contributions, or maybe I'm more focused on creating blog posts or content. But if I don't know where to start from, then I'll spend a lot of my own time just like trying to understand. But now that there's like individual SNFTs with the descriptive metadata, then you can go to the platform and start browsing like, hey, so this is what other people have been doing, and this sounds very interesting. Maybe I could do something similar. Or maybe I can approach them and ask them like, hey, what do you think that I should be doing in this community? So the activity becomes much more transparent.
Yeah. Okay. And presumably people start to understand who does what and who contributes what to the community.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. I think just to mention as well, we've started talking about this, but there are going to be other benefits associated with earning and owning these SNFTs, these Streamr NFTs, in that it'll give you access to future beta testing of new innovations coming through the Streamr ecosystem, potentially pre-sales, potentially airdrops, and other such Streamr community benefits. So there's going to be more on that to come next year. So watch this space. Okay, so Jarno, just going back to the pilot specifically, what is it that you're measuring in the pilot? Like, what are you looking for?
Excellent question. So this is something I had last week a meeting in Helsinki with the rest of the Atarka consortium, with other people who are very smart people who are trying to figure out like what are we measuring here, and we have this concept called allocated efficiency, and it's economic like metric basically. If you would really simplify it, it's like how well are we using scarce resources to get utility or benefit. And that sounds a bit of a mouthful, but in essence, like we want people, or what we're measuring, like we hope that we manage to measure the creative positive externalities in the community, or we hope that we manage to measure, let's say, the efficiency of people. That if people feel like, oh, this is actually a very useful tool, then we're like already a little bit successful. If we can measure that, oh, okay, people manage to, let's say, spend a little bit less time on thinking what they want to do, then we feel like we're already on the right track.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fantastic. And what kind of results are you expecting? Like, what's the sort of what's the ultimate outcome that you're looking for over time? Maybe where this project is in 6 months or 12 months time. What would you like to see?
Of course, I would love to see like other communities adopting this. This is something that has a lot of potential in multiple different ways. Of course, like in this project, like I have very much like this research classes on, because it's an EU research project. So there's gonna be hopefully continuation to this, that where we manage to do a little bit more in the product version of this. Now it's like we're piloting things, we're testing things out in practice. But how I would want to see is that the different Web3 communities take this type of like shareable or non-shareable NFT awards and just like start to keep them, start to identify important people, important activities have been done in the community, and start recognizing people. And there are kind of like similar projects, like you could say Git bot is one, like, or proof of participation is something similar. But they're at the very, very high, like aggregate level, that it says like, okay, you went to conference, but great, here's a token. But what did you do there? Nobody knows. So maybe there's going to be at some point that you could use, when you accumulate this, like let's say certified activities in different communities, maybe you could use as part of your CV. But you could say like, hey, look at all these projects and see what I have done to them, and look how they have appreciated me.
Okay, very nice. So you said proof of, I think it was proof of contribution. You said there, or proof of attendance. So there is POAP, which is proof of attendance protocol. So maybe that's something, a project, a protocol that we could speak to about this, for further adoption. But yeah, lots of opportunities there, no doubt. And if there are other communities watching this or other projects, how would they get involved? How would they get their project onto the Talco platform?
Absolutely. We would be happy to help you discuss further. We would want to see more projects come to the platform. So you can go to talco.io, scroll the page very down, and there's contact information how to contact us. If you can't contact us from there, then just poke someone from Streamr and we'll get the message eventually. But that's still the faster way, just to go to the platform and check the contact email.
Fantastic. Okay, great. Thanks, Jarno. So I think that kind of concludes the main questions, and I think we've covered off most of the main topics. Just to recap then, if you're a Streamr community member and you're watching this and you'd like to earn your shareable NFTs, then if it's not obvious, the way to do that then is to contribute to the community in one of various roles, whether it be kind of from a dev perspective, a marketing perspective, a security perspective. That is the easiest way to earn your SNFTs, which will allow you future benefits via the Streamr ecosystem across the course of next year. And just to mention as well, the other way to earn NFTs or to win NFTs is via the Stream Team Bounty app, which is newly launched. It's about a week and a half old, or maybe a couple of weeks old. And if you haven't checked it out yet, go to friends.streamr.network, friends being FRENS. .streamr.network, and sign up to the app and complete the bounty actions. And the more points you earn, and the higher up the tiers you go, you start to earn these SNFTs, shareable NFTs. So yeah, I think that's it for now. Jarno, thank you very much for your time. It's been really interesting talking to you, and yeah, very interesting project, and great that we've got it to market.
Great, thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Jarno. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.